Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Tonight, guys, I'm taking a look at my first mockumentary in this series. Those of you who don't know what a mockumentary is, a mockumentary is a fictional film done in a documentary style. And most of the more popular ones apparently are comedies, and the best examples I can give you are things such as This Is Spinal Tap and Best in Show, amongst many others. But those actually are two of them that I think are just fantastic. Well, this one is a far more serious mockumentary. This is also one of the most controversial films ever made, according to the blurb at the very top of the DVD case. Tonight's film came out in 2006, and it's called The Death of a President. Now, the plot of this film, guys, is that it is a documentary look at what happened when then President George W. Bush was assassinated. So yeah, this thing's sort of giving us sort of like an alternate history sort of, well, not even, because the movie was made in 2006, but the story is set in 2007, so it's not really an alternate history as much as it's like an possible alternate future. I don't know. I am not about to play around with timelines and other bullshit just to figure out whether or not this thing counts as some sort of a freaking alternate history. I'm not even going to play with that. Now, when I first heard about this movie back in 2006, I was really fascinated. I really had a strong interest in checking it out. I found a copy of it yesterday for $5. I thought, what the fuck? I bought it, and I'm going to see if this thing's any good. I have hopes. However, I also know that this film is ridiculously polarizing. It actually seems that the people who have seen it and love it will tell you it's one of the best films from 2006. Those who've seen it and hated it will tell you it's one of the worst movies you could ever see. There really doesn't seem to be a whole lot of middle fucking ground there. Well, I am about to see exactly which side of this fence I'm going to be sitting on. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Death of a President. The protesters became violent? No, they just jumped over the barrier, and from the footage I saw, they were sitting in the middle of the road. I mean, that honestly is not getting violent unless you count jumping over the guardrail as getting violent. But you know what? I honestly am not going to question that right now. I'm really curious exactly where the story is going. You know, guys, this is actually something that is worth mentioning. Now, they are showing these massive, protests at a Bush speech. I do not remember us ever having protests that were that big. In fact, the closest I've seen to anything like that would be, well, it was about last year with everything involving Occupy this and Occupy that. That actually is the size of the protest they are showing here. So that's actually sort of cool, especially since they had to get all these actors to do this. This is pretty fucking good, man. My God, guys, this movie's doing something I never thought any movie could do. It's making me care about George W. Bush. I never thought I'd be saying that, but this thing's actually making me care, even though the title already tells me he fucking dies. That is really powerful for a film to do, man. You know, folks, I actually would just like to say this now. They actually continue to show footage of all of those protesters, and, you know, I am continuing to see more and more signs which are making me think that perhaps maybe the makers of this film were kind of sort of taking the protest signs a little bit far. Just to put it this way, I personally thought that Bush was evil, but there was no way in hell I would ever have called him a fucking Nazi. I have seen tons of signs, though, in this film which have said that during these protest scenes. Just thought I'd bring up that. Well, that actually makes a little bit of sense, you know. The president is shot and killed, and thus the Patriot Act is made far, far worse. Yeah. This film is definitely sticking, guys, to realism. It's just that it's an almost depressing sort of realism. Well, guys, I said this earlier, and I am going to say it again. This film really has got a really good air of realism to it. I seriously am willing to believe everything that is being said here. And that's something that's really difficult to do when you are making a mockumentary. So I do have to applaud them for being able to actually give us a very, very believable story. Wow. That ending was just a little bit chilling. What makes it even weirder is it was chilling and it was just a series of text screens. Well, that was Death of a President. I'm gonna shut the movie off here and let's discuss the film, shall we? First of all, guys, I should mention, and I believe I sort of stated this earlier when I was actually watching it, that yes, I do happen to believe that Bush was probably one of the worst presidents we ever had. Which one? We'll pick one, because frankly, both of them sucked. We are talking about W. He was probably the worst president we ever had. But it really is saying a lot when when a film posing as a documentary, or modeled after a documentary, is able to make you actually care about the guy. I also said that too. I am going to tell you guys. When I started watching this, I had no idea what the hell I was getting into. I had no clue exactly how they were going to handle this sort of a story. And the fact of the matter is, when you are doing a documentary and you're trying to be serious about it, realism is the one thing you want to stick with. And my God, they nailed everything. Because living in the U.S., I can totally see the possibility of the president being shot and killed, and the prime suspect is there specifically because he was nearby and he was Muslim. Why? Because unfortunately in our country we have a lot of racial profiling. So unfortunately that's a very realistic thing, as well as modifying, enhancing, and strengthening the Patriot Act. Again, that would probably have happened if Bush were shot and killed. Just tons and tons and tons of stuff, and you see it and you go, my God, that actually could have happened. Everything that happened in this movie could very easily have been a very scary, very frightening, very depressing possibility. And the fact that they add a twist at the end, a very, very good twist, I should mention, which sort of keeps you guessing. It is a very well done film. The acting, well, first of all, I do want to say, because this thing is I believe this thing was a low budget film. I actually didn't look into the budget. I'll probably put like a subtitle or something giving you the budget if I ever find it. They have a cast of actors who, at least I honestly have never heard of, and that was probably a great advantage to this, because when you're doing a documentary, the last thing you want is to see somebody and go, holy shit, look, it's this guy. No. You do not want to see actor X there. You want to see the head of the FBI's Chicago branch. That's it. And everybody, apparently, as far as I know, did not have any previous roles that I have ever seen them in. So it definitely worked out. It was definitely something that you seriously just get like sucked in. I mean, this film stopped at nothing to go for as authentic a look and feel as possible. So we have multiple types of video sources. We have stuff which looks like it was shot digitally. We have stuff that looks like it was shot on tape. We have stuff that looks like it came off of fucking television. They basically went went to great lengths to make this thing look as authentic and as realistic as possible to match the ridiculously, and once more, almost fucking depressingly realistic take in the writing. I really, guys, am going to tell you, I would highly recommend this one. This one is a little bit tough, to watch if you actually live in the U.S. and you know the horrors of the fucking Patriot Act and you want to see something where that gets strengthened, and you really just do not like a lot of practices in the U.S. and you see them going on in just basically as realistic a fashion as you could in a fictional piece. If you actually are able to look past all of that, then you will absolutely adore this. If you actually are able to watch it and just basically be stunned because you know deep down in your heart this thing actually could have been a fucking reality, then you're probably going to enjoy this. But if you are not a fan of documentaries at all, like if you just cannot sit through anything that even poses as a documentary, you're probably going to want to avoid this one, because I'm going to tell you, this one actually does happen to get really dull at times, which seems to be a problem with a lot of documentaries, because they apparently have a hard time just trying to keep everything focused for a full 90 minutes or 2 hours or whatever the hell the runtime is. Now this one here I believe clocked in at 96 minutes. I'm just going to double check that. 97 minutes, okay. According to the back of the case, it's 97 minutes. So they at times are beginning to run out of stuff to say and stuff to do until the next big twist comes up. So there actually are a couple of lulls in there, like lulls in the, well, action isn't even in this. I actually would say it's just more like a lull in all of the suspense and all of the intrigue. But I've seen a lot of documentaries where that happens. So even though this thing here is a fictional documentary, a mockumentary of sorts, it's definitely playing up to even the way that documentaries play out. I absolutely adored how everything went here. But this film is certainly not going to be for everybody. There is no way in hell I'm going to sit there and say that everybody has to see it, because I know that not everybody is going to want to see a fictional documentary about the death of George W. Bush. There's no way in hell that actually is going to play to a massive audience. So I honestly am not going to say that everybody should. However, if you guys are in any way curious, go ahead, check it out. I seriously am not sure if you could find this one on Netflix or anywhere else, but frankly, the fact that I found a copy of it for $5 is kind of saying that you can probably find copies somewhere, and probably at a rather decent price. So maybe if all else fails, and if you don't have a place that still rents DVDs, and you really want to check it out, your best bet is to just hope and pray that this thing is on Netflix. It might be, but I don't really know. Seriously, guys, this one here is probably one of the hardest films I've ever had to actually give a final judgment on, because it is one of those ones that has a very limited sort of audience. So there's no way I could actually say that everybody should go and see it. But again, guys, if you seriously are curious, go ahead, check it out. The film is only 97 minutes. You really aren't going to be losing a whole lot of your personal time if you sit down and you give this thing a watch. So, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.